holding consultations almost on the daily with prospects or current clients, helping them navigate through the whole bureaucracy of Serbia. One of the main questions that I've touched on multiple times and that seems to keep on arising is that, is Serbia going to join the EU? Of course, many of our clients that are moving here, be it businesses, entrepreneurs, or just families and single individuals, their main worry is that Serbia somehow is going to join the EU. And I, for one, think that's not going to happen. But what do I know? I'm not a politician. I am not tied to the government in any way whatsoever. And I just see how things are perceived here in Serbia, just speaking with Serbs on the daily. But today I want to bring up an article that I just saw that shows that there is no, future in the EU with Serbia because of what the EU wants from Serbia. And of course, I've been to a couple conferences these past couple days. Actually, I just got back to my apartment now from a investment compass conference at the Embassy of Italy here in Belgrade. And one of the commissioners from the EU was talking about how Serbia needs to join the EU, that it's going to make life that much better for doing business here, and how people don't want to come to Serbia because they're not, Serbia is not in the EU, which me as a business owner and working with clients from all over the world, their biggest reason for moving here is because we are not part of the EU. And you can see the huge contradictions between what politicians say, what our clients are saying, and what the local population is saying as well. So we're going to dive into this article today and talk about my thoughts. You can voice your opinions when it comes to where you think Serbia stands when it comes to the EU. If you live here in Serbia, feel free to voice your opinions as well. I'm open to all points of view. Now, one of the articles I see here is that the EU sent a harsh message to Belgrade and the government here in Serbia because the president, love him or hate him here in Serbia, everyone's entitled to their opinion. He said that, or they're saying that Vučić tried to hide Serbia's participation in Russian exercises. And, their message, their harsh message, should I say, was that if you don't stop participating with people that we deem are bad people, that your EU succession or your path to the EU is off the table. And that's their right to say that. But I thought that when you join the EU, you're supposed to be part of a collective. But it seems when you're sending that type of message out that it's do it my way or else, and that almost sounds like not a very joint partnership type of business that someone would want to join. And there's no real, sweet spot when you're already telling me that I can't do this, but we want you here. So if you're already telling a country, don't do this or else, but we want you to join us, what would be the incentive for that country to join? Now, the next article I want to talk to you about is from Vreme. It says Montenegro should finish negotiations with the European Union already next year, and Albania in 2027. However, Serbia is reputed as an unreliable candidate who will miss another historic chance, and this is to, of course, join the EU. For decades, the country, Western Balkans, preparing for accession EU. Experts also agree that Montenegro and Albania have advanced their furthest in their efforts to fulfill the conditions for membership in the European Union. So for those that are looking to move to Albania, because I've had some consultations with individuals who said, we're on the fence between Serbia, Albania, and Montenegro because you guys are all out of the EU. Well, this is going to tell you that they're joining the EU, and so we're going to be left being the only ones not in the EU. So your choices are going to be limited now. Article goes, however, in Serbia, the largest and economically strongest of the 6 candidate countries, the reform process has stalled. Therefore, the question arises whether the EU should receive soon Montenegro and Albania, even at the risk of Serbia, when its ally Russia further destabilizes the region. I'm sorry, but I'm going to make this short and sweet. Who moved whose military to another country's borders? You know, I think that should be kind of self-explanatory there. And who is donating hundreds of millions and billions to another country, and now that country is being accused of corruption and money laundering? Just saying, I'm not pointing out any fingers out there, but I'm just saying. Expert politicians interviewed by the Reuters agencies say, yes, it should, because that would be also increase the pressure on Serbia, meaning that, you know, Montenegro and Albania should join the EU. End of negotiations, Montenegro 2026, Albania 2027. After the horrors of the wars of the 90s, European Union set itself the goal in 2003 of integrating countries of the Western Balkans into the community of states in the long term. In the latest progress report published in early November, the European Commission confirmed that Montenegro can complete accession negotiations by the end of 2026. The Brussels authorities projected the year 2027 for Albania. However, in relation to Serbia, it was stated that the pace of reforms has slowed down significantly. The German government is trying to keep all the candidate countries, which was shown by the fact that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, John Wadefield, recently visited all 6 countries. You know, Serbia is not playing by the rules of the EU, and that is the sole right of a country that is neutral. A country that is neutral and is wanting to do what they want in their best interest, like that's like me saying, me who I have no affiliation with any other country or any other organization, now I have to follow the rules of said organization because they said so. I'm sorry, I am not part of your organization. I have not signed a contract, so on and so forth. So why are you telling me what to do? Now, if I was to join that organization or whatnot, then of course I'd have to follow the rules and regulations of that organization. However, Serbia, a neutral sovereign country, is able to work with China, Russia, EU, you know, you got Dubai, you got many other countries that Serbia is working with as they should, because it's their right. The article then further goes to say that, you know, that the EU needs to take care of these other countries, because if EU does not take care of these other countries, others will, which they're referring to China and Russia. And God forbid that there was another country that came and had the best interest for them, because somehow the EU has the best interest. You know, you may want to ask Poland how they feel with their €1,000,000 per day penalty that they're having to pay because they will not take illegal migrants. Like the guy said from Poland, he says, we're bringing people in the legal way, but we're not accepting people that are coming in illegally. And I think that is the right of a country who wants to keep safety at the top of mind, take care of their people. And I think that EU is headed down the wrong path, to be frank with that. And then they goes to say, what is Putin's strategy? Because we have to bring up about how Putin and Russia are bad, because none of these other Western organizations or these other Western countries, one in particularly that likes to go and bomb other countries when they don't get listened to, somehow never look themselves in the mirror and be like, what are we like? What are we doing? So they go to say Serbia is one of Russia's closest allies in Europe and has so far refused to support European Union sanctions against Moscow over its attack on, which country. I don't want to get censored here, but you guys see it in the news every day. Political scientists in a statement from the Austrian daily press says, however, that he does not believe that the Russian president has a kind of master strategy for the Western Balkans. He simply wants to deal blows to the West. He wants to prevent EU expansion, above all, NATO expansion at all costs. And that is what I was talking about earlier. Who brought whose soldiers to whose borders? And why is it that one organization has to rule them all? And why is it that if you don't listen to us, that you are somehow labeled? I am honestly sick and tired of the West, and one of the reasons I moved to Serbia, and I'm glad I did, because I don't have to deal with these labels, that I identify with this, and if you say the wrong word, you're labeled X, Y, and Z, So now all these countries are doing, and these organizations are labeling countries that don't support them or don't align with them with bad labels, essentially, not looking at themselves and seeing how they are operating on the global stage. Serbia is currently not a credible candidate. The European Union should not allow Serbia, and this indirectly Russia, to dictate its course regarding the admission of new members. As a matter of fact, there was an article I read last year where actually Holland also decided to say, no, we don't want Serbia either. And I'm not going to read the rest of this article. I will leave the rest of this article in the description of this video so that you can read the rest of it, to Serbia to answer whether it wants to join, or, if you want to still deal with people that you've been dealing with for hundreds and thousands of years, or do you want to deal with an organization that goes around telling you what to do? So if you're interested in looking at that article, I'll leave it in here. But for those that are wondering, where is Serbia standing on EU accession? I think that their information is out there. You have to look at the sources, stop believing what you're seeing on TV, and understand that, hey, maybe I need to come and visit Serbia first and talk to the local people here to find out where they stand on things. What is the news outlets that are not mainstream Western news saying, and what is other, non-famous or not publicly known news outlets saying contrary to mainstream media? I think that's where we're going to leave it today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.